started recording?
No, ma'am, not yet.
Okay.
Camera on.
What is the problem? Okay, it not now started. There is no that it's not showing any this one that start bottom that.
Do you see the recording button in your?
It is there. It is there. That's why then I record meeting, but then anyone is able to see that record option?
No. Can someone record externally then?
Yes, no problem. What is the problem? Okay, you can start actually. Someone can record externally. No problem.
Okay.
I'm taking from home actually today. It's raining heavily. But it should come.
Okay, I will share my screen.
Yes.
Okay, can I start? Okay, so the third data type we will be seeing is the associative arrays, or we also call it as hashes for plural. And okay, now we will be seeing the what exactly is the construct of the hashes. I'll get the pointer. So when we see scalars are just one variable. Okay, so like these are independent. They have nothing means they are not related to each other. For arrays, this entire thing is one array, and each element is consecutively placed with each other. But in associative arrays, there are keys and values. So this is the key and this is the value. So by
Arthur, can you tell me why it is known as associative array?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone?
Yes, ma'am. So associative arrays are for suppose we have some certain value and there is some corresponding value to it. Such like for codons we have amino acid, for each codon codes for certain amino acid. So this key could be an amino acid, a codon, and the value could be like AUG codes for methionine. So by giving a key value, we can access certain value. By giving key, we can access certain values. So for that, we have associative arrays, and these keys and values are stored consecutively. So like they are corresponding to each other, the key and its value. So there is an array of such pairs. This entire thing is a hash, and these are the pairs in it, the keys and the values. Okay. If you have any doubt or you can't understand anything, you can stop me anytime. I may clear it.
mentioned
Okay.
that are not like array, they are in order, no? Here, this one pair, all these pairs are not in order. No, that
Huh,
you mentioned, no? That later.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Later on, while getting the keys, I was going to mention it. So in arrays, everything is ordered. We can say that okay, this is the first element, this is the second, this is the third, by giving the index value. But in hashes, it doesn't work like that because these pairs are random, and we can access the values by giving the keys. And now I will show you how we can create an array, create a hash. So this is the uh, syntax for it. Like we can give whatever the hash name will be there by giving a percentage sign symbol. As we use dollar sign for scalars and the @ sign for arrays, we are using the percentage sign for the hashes. And there is a key and the value. They are given consecutively. So for this key 1, it corresponds to the value 1. Then there is key 2 and then value 2. Key 3 and value 3 and so on. We can give as many as we want. But remember that for now we are saying just one key and its one value. We are not going to see many keys, too many values. So we will try to keep it simple for now. And as you can see that these are in pairs, so try to keep them in pairs only. And because what happens is sometimes we give the key and the values are not given. So the compiler doesn't really understand that, even if we are like using strict or warning. It doesn't really understand that okay, there is one value missing for a key. It just discards that. So remember that there are always even number of elements in a hash. So moving on. So here let's say our hash name is num. Then 1 corresponds to 1, then 2 corresponds to 2, and 3 corresponds to 3. Now what we can say, it's not a problem exactly, but declaring or creating hashes is quite flexible. You can give the key in a single quote or in a double quote or something like this. You can just give a hyphen. Okay, so
Author, you run this one, no? -1. Sometimes some Perl version do not support this -1. But did you run this one, no?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Actually, this one is quite tricky, and there are some some rules to it. And the problem comes when the compiler doesn't return any error for it. So we just have to understand the
That's
syntax
why
fully.
this is better to write this way or this way. The
Yes,
first or second one is the most appropriate. People can understand this one. This is the key. This is the corresponding one. This is the key.
yes, and this is
This way also the first one.
yes. So this is a pair, this is the pair, and this is the third pair. Now we can say that okay, 1 corresponds to 1. Okay, ONE1, this string corresponds to 1 by giving the double arrow operator. This is the double arrow. Some call it a big arrow. So we can give the values to keys by this double arrows. Now we can use this single quotations and then the double arrow, or we can just give the single quotations and a comma. And it is up to us, like how we are writing it and which one is more like readable to us. But there is one more thing. Now this is in red, and you might be knowing like why we are using it in red. So we are not using anything over here. Okay, we are not giving a single quote or a double quote or a hyphen, no nothing. But still, the newer version of Perl, like we are using the Strawberry Perl right now, Like as we have installed it just now, we are using the newer version. So it allows this one. Okay, so we can just say that, okay, just ONE1 and give the corresponding value to the key. And no such single quote or double quote is required for this. But I guess for older version, this does not work. So it is not advised to use this one. Try not to use this one, or like there might be some semantic errors. Now,
Yes, you are correct actually. Now it is working. When I started taking classes, means 2012, I think it was not working. I used to this one, either double quote or single quote.
yes, yes. So this is the new one, but I would say that this is the best one, as we can read it neatly. Okay, this is the key and this is the value, and we can understand it by the double arrow. Okay, and then moving forward. Keys unique values, no. So keys should always be unique. Like you cannot give one or two or three again in the array. So, but values can be like repeated. Okay. So suppose we are creating a hash of names and age, and there are a few names in it. Let's say Josh or Mary, and they both can have the same age. So they both the keys can contain the same values. So that's how we can include repeated or the same values for it. We will see it in the next version. Okay, this is just another some permutation combinations by using we can use this comma and double arrow in the same declaration or same creation, because like here in these hashes, this double arrow and comma are just the same thing. So like this is how it works. We can this is very much flexible, but you have to create your own conventions to use commas or these double arrows. But these double arrows have better readability. Like when you can directly understand, because like as we are using comma over here, it is quite confusing. It might become confusing. And one more thing, we can these keys and values could be any scalars. Okay, like this could the key could be a string and the value could also be a string. The key could be a number and the value could also be a string. So different kinds of permutations and combinations you can use. Going forward, and this is the laziest declaration you can go for it. Like just 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. So but still it is not advised to do this one, as as we are not using any single quote or double quote or hyphen, it will add up to the confusion later on. Okay, moving forward. So in the last lecture taken by Pooja, we have seen strict and warning. So strict and warning, like when we include this in the in the starting of our code, like use strict and use warning, it tells that okay, the compiler, it tells the compiler to be strict and give warnings and not allow certain rules, like certain conventions like we want to follow. So if we use this, if we use both of this, then we can create hashes only by giving a single quote or a hyphen. A single quote or a hyphen. We cannot give it by using double quotes or keeping it as it is without any quotations. You can try this by creating hashes in whatever IDE you are doing or any Node+ and try to run it. So if you are using this, just take care that you are giving single quotes or a hyphen. Also, for this presentation, I am not using any strict or warning because that will just add up to the confusion as we have not seen the my keyword and local keyword. So we will just try to keep it simple. Okay, now how to access the values. Okay, so you can say that this key is to the log of this value. Okay, to access certain value, we are using one key. We generally don't go the other way around. Okay, we don't open a key by a lock. So, but we can, there are some other advanced methods where you can get the key by giving the value, but that we are not going to discuss right now. So, as I told you, like these keys and values are scalars. These keys and values are scalar. So what we will be accessing at a time will be a scalar. Okay. So now let's say print this number 1. Now see here, as we are accessing a scalar, we are giving the dollar sign, then the name of the hash. Okay, like the same way we did for accessing the elements of an array. And we give the key inside braces. Remember the braces. So, like this is the second time we are using braces. The first time we used it in the sort function, like to give the ascending or descending order. But here we are using braces, and inside the braces we are having the key. Now, and as you can see over here, we have created this in single quotes, so we can access it by giving the single quotes only. Okay, you cannot give double quotes or hyphen. No, it is actually not allowed. So, as if you are declared it in single quotes, then it will means we have to call it by the single quotes only. And here you can see we are giving hyphen, so we can access it by giving hyphen. If we are giving by double quotes, then we are accessing by giving double quotes. This is just one single value we are accessing right now. Is this clear or?
Yes,
Did you understand?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will move forward.
See bio students. Did you understand? Shubhas.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
Chandni is there. Nishi, Chandni.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Carry on, author.
Yes, sir. Oh, sorry. Next slide. Now, see, I have created the names and ages hash, and I have not given any single quote or double quote or hyphen anything else. So I'm going it by the lazy method. Just for a few examples, I am using this. So Ram has age 23, so Sham has 32, and Dhani has 27. So by declaring in such way, we can, like, this is just for increasing the readability, because as you can see in the previous slide, it is quite difficult to understand, because 1.22, it's quite confusing, and as it is in a single line. So we can just include these keys and values each in a single line. So just for our readability. Now, as we have used this the dollar names and ages Ram, like we did the same thing in the previous slide to print it. We can assign this scalars to another scalar, like age of Ram, like age Ram is equal to dollar names and ages Ram. So we are accessing a single scalar by giving the reference of a key. So in such way we can access such scalars, like we can assign scalars, assign values to the scalars. So this could be anything, like I have given, these are numbers 23, 32, 27. It could be a string like a name or like surname or address or city in which where they live. So it could be anything as per your data. So like this is a way like we can assign values to a scalar.
So this name actually names underscore in this should be the same actually, this name, variable name. Okay. See this one, names in ages. So same one. This is
Yes. Yes. What happens is, suppose I forget typing S over here. Then the compiler doesn't understand. It doesn't throw any error. So we just have to be careful with the identifiers we will be using. And if we are using any IDE, then it will be really helpful to avoid such confusions. Then suppose we want to access more than one elements or more than one values from a hash. We can go by this way. So I have just added a few more names, Mandakini 29 and Rani 25. So this is our hash, and now I want to create an array of all the male people here, like the ages of the male. So I can just go by saying, okay, ages or M, like this is my identifier, my name of the array, and dollar sign. Okay, this is a dollar sign, not an array sign. The dollar sign of names and ages, and in the braces we can include the keys, more than one keys. So if you might see in the previous slide, we are giving only one key, as this is a scalar. Okay, so now we are giving more than one keys, like these are two keys, Ram and Sham. So this will like create an array like of ages M, and the same goes for the female. So ages S will be names and ages Dhani, Mandakini, and Rani. So the only thing is you have to explicitly mention the keys over here. Okay, there is no such automatic method for it right now. So you have to explicitly mention, okay, whatever values you want to access, you can store them in an array. And you can just check it by printing it like ages 7 and ages 7. You will get the output like this.
Third, excuse me. Third, can we access it like invertly? Like if we have, for example, 25, we want to find out who all are the people who among the array who have the age 25. So is it like same way?
No, like as I told you before, like we are not going the other way around. For now we are accessing the values by keys. So what you are trying to say is like, okay, there is the question. Sorry, like all the people who have the age 25. Okay, that's what you are asking, right?
Yeah.
Actually, there is some method. We call it grep. And that is something very much advanced, and we have not reached till there. So for now, we will just try to stick to accessing values by keys, not keys by values.
Yeah.
Okay, that part we'll discuss later.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
That also we can do. Means using this number, we can do this. You want to access the keys, no? You can do that one. But that part I didn't teach you still now. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Is this part clear for everyone?
Yeah.
Are there? Okay. I will move forward. Okay. So when we say a size of an array, you can just get it by assigning the array to a scalar. But we are having pairs in hash. Those are not really like single elements. So what we can do is, instead of going for hash, let's first try to get only the keys. Okay. So I want to get only the names from the hash. So I know that the names are the keys. So I can use keyword over here, like keys. Like, so I want to create an array names is equal to keys of hash name and ages. Okay, forget this part for now. So now
Go
we
back
are
to
getting.
the previous slide. Can you go back? Achha, did you run this program?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Can you show me?
Yes, ma'am, I will show. Okay, this entire.
Hmm.
Okay. Yes. Oh, something is wrong.
Which one?
Like I tried to run it, but it is not. I tried it before, but I don't know why
So
it's not.
you got the this one output?
No, ma'am. This is the output window, but I'm not getting anything.
Okay.
But I tried it. Means I ran everything and
For me also it is not running. So can you do one thing, that if you make it to array? Yeah, that one.
Yes, ma'am.
Then run.
Okay. Now it's running. I forgot to save that edit.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is
I'm so
basically
sorry.
array, because he is taking more than 2 key. So you have to give this array.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. I just
No
forgot to
problem.
make that.
Okay.
Okay.
So
I
all
will-
of you understood? Can you again, why scalar is not when you gave scalar and when you are using array? What is the difference? Can you explain? I think all of you understood that only the C-Bio students. Author, you should explain only for them. That bioinformatics, I think they know.
Yes, ma'am. So as we are like trying to create an array, so we have to mention the ampersand, the @ sign over here, and the name of the hash and whatever keys you want to give. So it's up to you, like how many keys you want and what exactly keys you want to mention.
So scalar, if we give scalar symbol here, that @ this names, no, before that scalar, dollar symbol, sorry, dollar, then all of you know scalar means it takes only the single data. And array means it is a list of scalar. So that's why we are giving, he is giving that array symbol.
Yes.
Because you are accessing more than one key. RAM and more than 2 values. No, RAM and
Ram and Sham.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Go to the.
I will make the changes right away to avoid confusion. Okay. So we were here. So I want to get only the names from the hash. I don't want the ages. So I can create an array, like array names, where I can use this keyword keys and the hash name.
Keys.
So,
this is actually build function.
Function
that you can use only for this type of has variable. Okay, so keys is a function. Okay.
So what exactly is happening over is this because of this function, this entire thing returns an array. So we are just returning this array to the names, and in the same way, we can get the values by giving the function name values and get the edges of whoever people are there in the hash. So now we got like, as we know, there are equal number of keys and values. So the values won't means if there are 5 keys, then there will be 5 values. So as we have got the array of names, we can just assign the the size of the array to a scalar. Okay, like number of names, and we can just print it simply by giving the scalar of it. Like there is no direct method. We have to, if we want to get the size of the hash, we have to get either the keys or the values into an array, and then assign the array to a scalar just to get the size of it. Is this clear?
Athar?
Go ahead.
Yes.
In this one, when we are writing keys at the keys name and edges, so the names array is saving Ram, Sham, Dhani, and all those names, right?
Yes. So
And for edges, all the numbers.
Yes, this function
Yes.
only this one.
Okay. Yeah.
only the keys. Like, see, these are the keys. So, sorry. Okay, it went wrong. You get the idea. Like only the keys are stored in the array.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, and yes, the order is not defined. So, like, as we have created the hash like Ram, Sham, Dhani, Mandakini, and Rani. So when we say keys and the name of the hash, the order in which the keys will be stored is not defined. Okay. So, like, the first element won't necessarily be Ram, so it might be any other key to it. So, like, it just adds the names in a random manner, and the same goes for values. So just remember that order is not defined when we use the keys and values function. We can then later sort it out. Okay, that is not exactly the problem. We can sort the array that we have seen in the previous lectures, that we can use the sort function. So here, before keys, you can just say sort, and automatically the keys will be sorted. So, like, we can just use both the functions in a single statement. Is this clear? Does anyone have any doubt? Okay, I'll move forward then.
Can we assign 2 values for 1 key?
For now, we are not going to see that. That will be very much complicated.
What is your question, Ishi?
Ma'am, can we assign 2 values for 1 key?
We can do, so, but we not yet learned that one. We can do that one.
Yes, we can do it, but the method is long and there are some
Okay, I'll give some
advanced
example
functions.
later. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So moving forward. Okay, this is the same thing we saw in the last slide, and this is the trick part. So, like, for getting the size of the array, or like getting the number of keys with the hash, what we did was assign the keys to an array, and then assign that array to a scalar. So instead of using that scalar, we can just use this dot operator. We saw that in the previous classes, that dot operator is used for scalars to concatenate the strings, the scalar strings. So here, when we use the dot operator on an array, so this array, this @names is automatically converted into a scalar, and you can directly get the size of the size of this array names. Like this is just like you just don't have to declare a special scalar for it. We can just include this dot names dot in just to get the size of the array in a print statement. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now we want to add and delete or update like the values and keys of the hash. So as we can see, like I will just draw this so that it will be easy to understand. So there are 5 pairs in it, 5 keys and values. I want to add 6 in it. Okay, so try to understand this one. As we have created this array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now we can see that okay, this is organized, but while storing it is not organized. As I told you, like when we are accessing the keys by giving the keys function, it is not in order. So we can just add this another element. Okay, now here 6 is the key, and this 6 is the value. This is the key and this is the value. So what we are trying to do is create a scalar. Okay, like scalar is this value. So just give the dollar symbol, name of the hash, and in the braces give the new key. Okay, we are adding the new element now. So give the new key and whatever value it is. So we are just like creating another element, and the hash is increased by 1 pair. And for deleting something, suppose I don't want 4, this pair I don't want. So we can use the delete function. Just say delete the scalar, hash name, and then the key. Okay. So in this way we can just add or delete a pair of key and value. And in a similar manner, I will just escape this. So we have added and created. We can even update a value. Suppose I want to update the value, like the value for 3 as 33, not just 3. I can give it by num, the key value, and let's say 33 or 333, anything. Here we have updated the value of that key. Okay, so this is adding an element, like adding a pair. This is deleting a pair of key and value, and this is updating. This is updating some value of the key, and this should be a scalar. Like as these values are scalar, so we are giving this dollar symbol.
This is because of that key is the unique, no? So same key he is using. Here 3, here 3. So that is basically overwriting this one. 3 will be replaced by 333. Okay. Because in hash key must be unique. So from that property we are using and updating this one. Updating the hash value.
Yes. And if you want to check that whether the element is or this pair is added or not, you can use the like what we saw is over here. We can use the keys function and then assign to variable and check the size of this array. Okay, so after adding 6, the size of the array should be 6. You can check that by printing it. And after deleting 4, also you can include a print statement where you can check the size of this hash or size of the name. Okay, does anyone have any doubt? Okay. Oh, sorry. Let's slide 12. So I hope this part is clear. Moving on. Now let's look back at arrays. Okay, so we are creating an array of cities. Let's say Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, and Chennai. So this QW we have seen in the last lecture. You can just say QW, and in between the forward slashes, you can include the elements by giving a space in between. So we have 4 names in it, 4 elements in this cities array. Now there is a for each loop, a function already available in Perl. So what this with this we can just access the elements of the array in every iteration. This is something very similar to what we had in Java, the for each loop, but this is very much simpler. Just say that okay, $C. Just skip the pointer. Which is $C. Like we will be using $C for cities, and this is the array reference. This is the array. So for each $C of this cities array, we can just print the name of the cities. So this is how we can just say, okay, just access the elements of the array, and in a very simpler manner, there is this special character, okay, $_. This special character can be used when we don't use any like any buffer scalar over here. Like I'm just saying for each @cities. I'm not using any $C or $D over here. I can just say $_. So $_ stands for the element of the array. So first element will be Mumbai, second element will be Delhi, and third will be Kolkata, and fourth will be Chennai. And this for each does the work. You don't have to give the element number, like you don't have to give the index or anything. You can just say okay, this $_, and you can just access the elements by this for each array. So why I'm like including this, because as you know that there are many keys and values to a hash. So how we can access those keys and values using this for each loop. Is this part clear? Or does anyone have any doubts?
No, Nishi, Chennai.
Like this might.
Can you just repeat the second part, the underscore part?
This
Okay,
is
okay. Yes, so see what we are done in the first place. Like instead of saying $, cities, and then giving the element number. Where it is 0. Oh, please don't mind my handwriting. So instead of going that, we are using just a buffer variable over here, like a scalar, $C. So here we are not using it. Okay, we are not naming it. So instead of like naming it, you can just say $_. So the compiler understands that okay, $_ means the element of this array. And for each means what? In every iteration, for the first iteration, the first element will be accessed. For the second iteration, the second element will be accessed. So the output will be Mumbai, then in the next line Delhi, the next line Kolkata, and the next line Chennai. So, okay, then have I cleared it out?
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
So this one, next part is the without using this $C. Okay. So you can do this way also. So this one for each, basically instead of writing this one $cities index, no, this is the index number of the first element. Again, next line $cities. Then within the square braces that index number 1, then next one index number 0, 1, 2, then 3. Instead of, you can use this loop structure for each. Okay. Did you get or no? Did you understand?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay, moving ahead.
This is the last slide, no?
Sorry, ma'am.
This is your last slide, actually.
Yes, ma'am. This is my last slide. So I will try to finish it as soon as possible. So now we are trying to compile everything what we have covered in the last few slides. So this is our hash 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5. So we want to get the keys of this hash. Okay. What we want to do is print the key and whatever this key corresponds to its value. Okay. So this thing, let me get the eraser. Okay, so these keys and %. Okay, as we have known that this returns an array. Okay, keys and the name of the hash returns an array. So this is automatically, this automatically becomes the array of the values. Okay, we have automatically created an array of these values. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, and now I am using like a scalar, like as I used $C in the previous example, I am using $keys. So I purposely use this $keys to tell you that. See, this is the same as the function name, but Perl actually allows it. Like you can just give $sign and call it as an array, and we can just say @keys, and we can include this in like a single code, and the compiler won't mind it because it looks only for this symbol. It is concerned with this dollar, this @ and this %sign. So just take care while giving the names of the whatever identifier you are using. So now automatically what will happen? This array, okay, keys %num. This array will have this, give the elements one by one to this scalar $keys. Something similar to @cities and $C. Now we are printing it. So we can just print the, okay, whatever the key will be there, and now we are accessing the value by the key. So you can see this is the $sign num, and inside the braces we are giving the key. Okay, so what exactly is happening is this will be let's say the first, as you know that this will give a random array. Let's say this gives 2, and then it will give like this, and the output will be just 2. Okay, because this is like we are accessing this num hash. Now, as I told, like it first could be 2 or 3 or 4, but in a more organized way, we can just sort the keys. This is the these are the same loops. I've just used sort over here. So this will print it in a very sorted manner.
Means this is alphabetic order. Okay, if you use this function, this will display in alphabetic order. Keys will be arranged alphabetically.
Yes, sir. This is just the like this part is quite difficult to understand, but you can just try it and you will get to know that okay, for each and every iteration, like for each and every element, this is the key
So
and this is the
here author has given dollar keys. Instead of this one, if he writes say dollar $A, okay, so then what you have to do, print dollar $A, then dollar number within the braces you have to give dollar $A. Did you understand?
Yes, I will type it. So instead of keys, I can just say A, and here I can say A, and here I can say A. So this will remove the confusion.
Like the array that the previous slide he gave the example, na? Dollar $C, like previous. Can you go back to the previous slide, Arthur?
Yes, ma'am.
Here. So the similar fashion we are using, instead of dollar $C, keys, he gave first keys, no? Keys, and this one is actually similar. Okay. Go back, go to the next one.
Yes, ma'am.
So we are going, instead of dollar $C or dollar keys we are writing, it is your choice actually, you are writing dollar $A. So if you write dollar $A, temporarily this means this is this variable, scalar variable will take the first key, or I cannot say first key. This is because the hash variable is not in order, so random. So it may take any key. Say it is taking this 2. Okay, or for simplicity we are taking, say it is taking 1. So that dollar $A will be 1, and this one already you have learned, this will be corresponding this number. Okay, so next one, say it is taking 2. So dollar $A, because it is a loop for each, the next iteration it will take say 2. So this one dollar, I wanted to mention that whatever variable you are using here, scalar A, so you have to use here also scalar A. Did you get? Did you understand that, all CBio student?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Then just the last line, what you have added this another function here. So what is the advantage of using this function? Why you have used the sort function?
Yes, ma'am. The sort function. Yes, ma'am. Shall I run it and show?
Yes, that will be better. First you explain that one. That I hope they understood.
Yes, ma'am. I will explain them here itself. Oh, sorry. Control C, Control V, and just adding a few new line characters. So, now these colors will sort out your confusion. So this is our hash. Now, in this for each loop, I am naming each and every element as $A. This part you understood how we are printing it. Now, I will run it and you will understand now. Okay, so first what happened? 3, 5, 1, 2, 4. But I will increase the font. Okay, first what happened is 3, 5, 1, 2, 4. Because this keys function, it will return random. It will return it randomly. But in the second part, what we do, we just used sort, and automatically all these elements were sorted, and it was given like that. Okay. Second.
So this is the first one, see alphabetic order, no? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, no, 5. So this one is coming first.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I don't know what happened, but this is the second time it happened that first I ran it, the program. It worked fine, but now it is not working. I don't know why.
What happened? I didn't understand. What is the... You
let me
got the correct answer, no?
No, ma'am. It is still giving me some random thing. So...
No, you change this to $A for each $A, you write?
Chandini?
Or you run this one. You take only this one part. So you create one array.
Yes, ma'am. I will just...
it should work.
Yes, ma'am. This should work. I will just say keys num and I can just say KE A A. This should work. I just created an independent array KE and just included it over here. No, it is still not working. I don't know. I will look into it.
No, we'll also see. One thing you do, this one. Where is your that array? That show me the program, that notepad that you do. No? The same one, no? Okay, you just this one for each $key. You just give the command line. This one you just this part.
Ma'am, excuse me. Ma'am, actually, we computational biology students have lab, bioinformatics lab now.
Okay. No problem. Tomorrow you cannot make it, no? Or no? That 10:30 or 11:30. Can you join?
Yes, ma'am. I'll just check.
Okay, then you...
Ma'am, actually, we have class fully tomorrow. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you cannot join. Okay, then we'll see when we can do this practical class, combined practical class. We'll see. Because first year will join from October, no? So we have to again revise the timetable. Okay then. Thank you, Arthur.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You can.